Welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while, but I have a fun little project that I want to show you today. I've been working on a book with the Fat Quarter Shop. Well, they did a book and I helped them make the quilt that goes on the front of this cover. So oftentimes when the publishing company It's So Emma makes books, they make all of the quilts to be photographed and then featured in the books on the front covers and the back covers. And so I made this quilt and then I did the quilting on the long arm. But when I finished this quilt, I realized that there were quite a few pieces left over from what's trimmed to make a secondary quilt. So if you bought this book, you have the ability to make this free little additional pattern if you make this quilt on the front. So this quilt on the front is on page 20 and it is called the Festive Forest Quilt, and so it's on page 20, and I'm not going to show it on the video, but this is the way that the block is. It's a very simple block, and so I'm going to show you how to make that block in order to make this cute little quilt. And so when you have a half square triangle left over from a quilt, there are a zillion different options to twisting and turning a half square triangle to make several different layouts. So this one I just came up with. I put it up on the design wall and I just started spinning them around and made this cute little quilt. So I'm going to show you how to do that with the Jolly Bar book pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the piece that we have cut for the pattern. There's only two pieces. It's a really simple pattern. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use some lines in order to create your leftover pieces and kind of make two steps in one rather. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, so the simplest way that I use a half square triangle, if you're going to sew, so I have this pinned on here. So if you're going to take a piece of fabric and you're going to put it over there, mark a line and sew it and make one of the fold over corners like this, you have the ability, no matter what size it is, to make two different pieces at the same time. So I'm going to show you, so this fabric already has the line on it. What you need to do is we're going to start off in the center right here and we're going to make a line from one corner to the other. And I'm just using a regular pencil. That's kind of my marker of choice when I do these. And so then what you're going to do is you're going to take this. This is a Creative Grids ruler. I don't know exactly what it's called. I will mark it. I will put it down in the description box. But it's the perfect size. So once you put that centerpiece, once you line up that, make that center line, then you can make another line on the other side. And then when you sew it on, you're going to sew on this line and then you're going to sew on this line and then you're going to trim it down the center in between the two lines, and then you'll have this piece that folds over, and this will be an independent half square triangle that you can use for another project. So let's hop over to the sewing machine and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so we're at the machine now. And what we're going to do is we're just going to stitch down both of the lines. And then we're going to trim right in the center. And so we're just going to line it up and trim right down the center. And so you have two pieces with one step. So now you have a half square triangle and you have completed your part of your flying geese for your pattern. So now we'll set that one aside and now we'll do this other one. So do the corner to the corner and make sure you have your secondary line on the outside. Okay, so now we can, whoops. I say it every time. Every time I do a video, I drop something. Okay, so we're gonna line it up and then we're gonna trim right down the center. And then you have your half square triangle. And then you have your piece, your flying geese for your pattern. So I've got the iron right here on the other side. And I'm gonna iron it. I keep a TV tray on either side of my sewing machine so that I can iron on my right side since I'm right-handed, and then I have a trimming TV tray on this side so I can do both. Okay, so this pattern is really great because when you make these flying geese, you chop off the top of it anyway in the seam, so it does not matter if your top seams line up perfectly because this is a really easy pattern. So now I'm going to press these two. And so for every flying geese block that you make, you get 2 of the half square triangles. And then what you can do is you can trim them down. So these blocks are right around 4 inches once you trim them exactly. And so I would not suggest using them just like this. You want to trim it off exactly. And I'll show you how to do that. But we want to trim it down. I trimmed mine down to about 3 3/4, I believe is what I trimmed. You could probably still get 4 inches. But if you want to make your star smaller, you can trim them down. Or this is a great trick, excuse me, for when you're just doing stash busting. If you're making any kind of the fold over corners, if you just add the secondary line, then you can keep a bin in your sewing room with all different colors and sizes and shape of the half square triangles. So I always do that when I'm making projects, and then I just keep a whole bunch of them. So, all right, let me show you how to trim these down perfectly. Okay, so when I trim my half square triangles, what you want to do is you want to line your center line up with the center seam. And so then you can see on this side there's the 4 inch, and on this side there's the 4 inch. And so you can see that if you trim it all the way around all the 4 corners, you have 4 inches perfectly. So that is the perfect size to do these, to make this quilt, is to do 4 inch. If you want to do 3 1/2 and you want it to be smaller, you can certainly do that. So here's my 4 inch. And then spin it again. Line it up. So you want to line it down here and on the line. And then when I do it, I just do a whole bunch of them and then I push my little scraps over to one side. So then line that up. So this one I can check on all 4 sides. I've got plenty of room to trim. And then line up this corner, the center, and the other corner. And then you have your 2 half square triangles, and then you are ready to make your little block. So what you're going to do for this guy is you're just going to follow it all the way around. So that's that one and that one and that one, and then you're just going to go around. And so you want your white pieces to go here, and then your dark pieces to go here, and then your white pieces, and then your dark pieces. So you do not need a pattern for this. All you need to do is just play around with the way that you turn it. You can just look at the picture that I'm going to post here. I've also got it on my social media on Instagram. If you want to see a still image of it, I'll post a still image of this quilt at the end of the video so you can see it. And all you want to do is, just like I said, just all the whites and then all of the darks. And you can do this with any fabric. It's a very fun little pattern, and I do mine on my design wall, and that way I can see it and just move them around. And then you can just go to town and you want to just sew rows. I just sewed mine in rows, so I just stack them the way that they go and then mark it with a little post-it note, and then just sit down and sew them in the row that the order that they need to go. Okay, make sure you post these on your social media so I can see what you make. Alright, thanks for watching my short little tutorial, and I hope you will make this fun little free pattern. that you can find as a bonus after purchasing the Christmas Jolly Bar. This is an exclusive book that you can only find on the Fat Quarter Shop website. So I will link it down below, and I will also link, this is the Lori Holt fabric. It's the new Hometown Holiday. And so you can purchase the Jolly Bar to make any of these quilts that are in this book, or you can purchase a layer cake, and basically that is just split in half. So it's 10 by 10, and if you split this in half, then it's a 5 by 10. And so any of the patterns that are in this book, you can purchase a layer cake and get the same thing as 2 Jolly Bars. So have fun with this, and make sure you subscribe so you can check out my next video. Thanks a bunch, and have a great day.